Hey guys, I hope you're all doing very well. It's Noble7 here, back again with another Cyberpunk 2077 video, and in this video I'm going to be looking at the brain dance kind of gameplay that we saw from the latest, or not even the latest, the first Night City Wire. Now I say kind of gameplay because it is gameplay, but you're not actually controlling a character. It's more like a video editor type of thing. And now I've seen a lot of people compare it to the Batman games, specifically I think it's Arkham Origins, where you can like go into this almost editor to see how scenes unfolded, and it is quite similar to that. But yeah, I just wanted to go through it and maybe point out some details that you might have missed and just give my thoughts, views and opinions on it. So let's jump straight into it. So when I first watched this video, I thought, alright, it's just a thug that's gone in to rob a shop, and we're just looking through his eyes via an implant that he had in his head. And I didn't think much of it, it's just a thug robbing a shop, that's what thugs do, But when you look and understand the dialogue, you can kind of see that that's not exactly what's going on here. So one of the thugs says, "Plan simple, do nothing odd, don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out, and we'll sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio." So as you can see, the important bit here is get out and we'll sell the BD to those psycho freaks. Now like I said, maybe you got this straight away, but the first few times I watched it, I didn't understand this at all. And obviously BD stands for brain dance. It's what is going on in this whole thing. It's what allows us to watch back through this person's eyes. And it says they'll sell the BD to those psycho freaks. And in the next bit of dialogue it says, "And remember, everything on full blast. They'll spot us extra for a wicked adrenaline high." So from this I gathered that these two thugs, they're not robbing the store for money. Obviously they'll get the money, which is good, but they're doing it to sell the experience to people. And I find that all very interesting, because that means there's a business, a person, maybe people in the Cyberpunk universe that buy experiences, and maybe they sell that as a service to other people, so they can watch all these crazy things. Not even watch, experience all these crazy things that they could never normally do. For example here, robbing a store. So next in the gameplay, once he's talked to his fellow thug, he walks into the shop, obviously quite anxious, shouting at people, "Get down." He hits one of the customers standing at the counter to the floor with his gun, obviously threatens the cashier to give him the money out of the drawer. Now this next bit is of vital importance, probably the most important thing in the Cyberpunk universe. There's a Rubik's Cube on the counter that only has 4 tiles on each side. Now where are these Rubik's Cubes in real life? Because you know that we can't do the normal Rubik's Cubes. They're impossible. So if I could have one of these, greatly appreciate it. I don't know why no one's made these yet, but alright, that wasn't very important. But what I do find cool about the Rubik's Cube, I think it's a Rubik's Cube anyway, is that when the thug goes to grab the cash, the Rubik's Cube moves as his hand brushes over it. Now this might seem like a minor thing, but that's why I'm impressed by it. That's why I find it cool, because as the game developers, it's probably a waste of time for them to animate a moving Rubik's Cube. Like it doesn't add to the gameplay. If it wasn't there, you wouldn't miss it. But that's what makes good games great, in my opinion, is when they add stuff that didn't need to be there. They add stuff that you see and you think, oh wow, if it wasn't there I wouldn't notice it, but because it's there, it makes the game so much more immersive. And after this, the thug tries to walk out the store before he gets shot, and that's where it cuts off. And V, obviously the character you're playing as, comes out of this, and he is very, very scared, as if he's just been killed himself. And he says here, it's like he was actually there. So once V had calmed down, he looks up and he's in a place called Lizzie's Bar. Now you'd think the person in Lizzie's Bar would be Lizzie, but as you can see, the woman speaking to us is called Judy. So maybe Lizzie's Bar is a cover for the brain dance place that she runs. Or maybe it's an actual bar run by someone called Lizzie. Who knows? Whoa, hey guys, it's your boy, Noble7, from the future, through the power of editing, cutting into the video to tell you that I'm a bit of an idiot. Because for what I say next, I thought that Lizzie was the person speaking to us, because I just saw Lizzie's bar and I was like, well, this must be Lizzie. But yeah, obviously I do know that it's not Lizzie, it's Judy who's speaking to us. So for the next bit of time I'm speaking, whenever you hear me say Lizzie, I mean Judy. Yeah, enjoy, carry on watching, thank you. I have two explanations for this. Firstly, I'm guessing that Lizzie is someone who specialises in brain dance. She seems to be the person that's doing the tutorial for you for brain dance. Obviously got the equipment, got whatever is on her computer over here that seems to be enabling the brain dance. Now here's where the one of two possibilities comes from. You either have to come back to this exact location for every single brain dance in the game, and apparently brain dance is quite a big feature of the game, so I don't think this is the case. What seems more likely to me, and what happens in quite a lot of games, is this Lizzie person, she'll introduce you to the brain dance feature, and then once this tutorial's over, she'll be like, oh, and I'm gonna install this software or this hardware into you so you can do it remotely from wherever you are. And that makes more sense to me, because I feel like it might break up the gameplay a bit if you have to go and retrieve the brain dance from someone and bring it back to Lizzie's bar every time. Although it would be interesting, it would make her a reoccurring character, but at the same time, what happens if they put a brain dance on the other side of the map to where Lizzie's bar is? So I think it's more probable and more reasonable that you'll be able to do a brain dance from wherever, but who knows, I could be wrong. So now you go back into the brain dance, and this is where the real gameplay comes from. This is where you get to move around almost in a detective mode and scope out the environment through the eyes, or not just through the eyes of the person, but what they could see. So you can move around as if it's been made into a scene. So once Judy explains the basic controls of the brain dance to us, she says that you can analyze subjects in the environment using the analysis mode. Now, because this gameplay that we're seeing here is a tutorial, we're being walked through how to do it in the game. We haven't really got a true perspective of how it will be when we actually play it by ourselves without the tutorial telling us what to do. So all that I hope is that they manage to balance out the difficulty. By that I mean, I hope they make it hard enough that it is a challenge, but not too hard that you don't know what to do. Now I'm going to show you a clip from Assassin's Creed Unity, which just shows the most stupid mission that I've ever seen.
I believe the king has built a hidden vault somewhere in here. If only we could find it. You were saying?
So basically what happens is there's a cutscene where Arno, the main assassin, is talking to Napoleon, and Napoleon says he thinks there's a hidden room within this room. At this point, the cutscene ends and it puts you back into the gameplay. And what I was expecting was, okay, I'm going to search for the hidden room. Give me a chance, give me a detective mission. Let me try and work out where the room is. What happens? I turn around, and almost as if I'm being mugged off, like, treating me like an absolute idiot. Massive yellow glowing wardrobe that says find. Like, how can an objective marker say find? It doesn't make any, like, I was so confused when this mission happened, because I was like, it says find on it. I haven't found it if you've shown me where it is. That doesn't make any sense. And that's literally it. That's where the room is. You press a button, it goes back into a cutscene, you found the room. That they didn't even need to put you out of the cutscene. This could have been part of the cutscene because there's so little gameplay. Now, I know I went off a bit of a tangent there, but I just hope that, and I trust Cyberpunk obviously, I trust the developers to be able to do this, but I hope they make it difficult enough that we have to use our brains to solve the puzzle during the brain dance, that it's not just walking through the steps of doing it every time. I trust that they will make it difficult enough. Now back to the gameplay. And Judy tells us that we can see and hear sights and sounds that the wearer of the implant didn't pick up themselves, but the implant itself did. Now moving on, and we see the thug obviously walk back into the shop like we saw before, but this time we're at a different angle, and you can scan the civilian who he hit with the gun, and it brings up, again referring to Batman, a scan result for the customer. And it tells you that the customer's status is unconscious. And I'm not sure if this is just in the brain dance, but I kind of hope you can get maybe an implant or an upgrade that allows you to see this during the actual gameplay, whenever, wherever, because I thought that it really added to the immersion of Batman, because it made every single NPC that you beat up feel like an actual person, because it showed their fear level, their heartbeat. The more enemies that you took out, the more scared that the last ones would get. So it made you feel like you were actually having an impact on the world. Now, after the thug gets shot, Judy brings your attention to the surveillance camera above the store entrance. She pretty much says the surveillance camera must have picked up who shot him. So if you can find the screen, you can find out who killed him. And this leads me on to another interesting thing about the whole brain dance. You can obviously see through the eyes of the person, but you can only see through their eyes. So when the thug is looking at the street, you can see the whole street, but when he looks away from the street turns black, because obviously he's not currently looking at the street. But what's interesting is, because the thug looked at the security camera screen, even when he's not looking at it, you can still go back to when he was looking at it and access it then, and view it even when he's not looking at it, which is quite confusing, but it's really cool as a way of, you have to remember who you're looking through the eyes of and what you can interact with, and it might not always be when they're looking at it. Maybe you can go back to when they were looking at it and scan it. It's confusing, but you get what I mean. Cool gameplay element. And finally, Judy says that the person that killed him must have got a nice slice of credit on the black market for a brain dance. Now this might mean that the brain dances that you acquire in game can be sold after you've used them, before you've used them, who knows. Now I think brain dance is a really good part of the game, or it will be a really good part of the game, because just like in Batman when you did the detective mode bits, it slows down the gameplay very much, which is a nice break if you've been out fighting, shooting, doing whatever you do in Cyberpunk. It's a nice slow pace because you get to go back and forward through the footage. There doesn't seem to be a time limit, hopefully there won't be. So at your own pace you can just go through it, look around all the details in the world, and you know that nothing's passing you by. There's probably no time going by in the real game. So you just get to take your time and relax whilst you work out the mystery, which I think is pretty cool. And from what I've heard, like I said, it is quite a big part of the game. By that I mean like you will do it multiple times throughout the game. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if you can do it from wherever, or if you have to go to a specific place to be able to brain dance, and even if you can sell the brain dance afterwards, or even before you've done it. It'll all be interesting to see, but yeah, I would like to know you guys' opinions in the comments, so let me know what you think about brain dance, or anything else you have to say in the comments. And yeah, if you are as excited as I am about Cyberpunk 2077, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content in the future, and I will see you in the next video.